Hey everyone, Dan Johnston here. I'm the Jack of all Ministries, here to help you make it happen. And today I'm going to share with you how my church got scammed and how if I had been just a little bit more honest, it probably wouldn't have happened. So before we hop into this, I want to let you know that I spent some time in thought and in prayer about actually releasing this video because I don't want to give any ideas to any bad guys out there that are looking to scam churches. But at the same time, I did want to share the video because I do feel like churches need to hear what some people might be trying to accomplish so that they can protect themselves from scams that people might be doing. And ultimately, I feel like the people that would be watching this video are more likely going to be the people that would be looking for ways to protect themselves versus people that would be trying to go after churches. And so I went ahead and decided to release it. I hope that it was the right choice. And honestly, I'm pretty confident that it is the right thing to do. So to start this story off, I got to let you know that our church uses an instant church directory because if you remember the old days with like old school church directories where you'd have to call a company, they would come out, you'd have to schedule all the families in your church to get your pictures taken, and by the time that the thing even comes out, half the people that are in your church aren't there anymore, or there's a bunch of people that are new that aren't in the directory, and then basically they just become like a relic that you look at and laugh at people's hair because their numbers aren't the same anymore, and so anyway, just old school paper directories just really aren't anywhere near as useful today as like the instant church directory that we use, because it's a great way to get everybody compiled in one place, get all the contact stuff that can be updated as you go. Pictures can change over time and all that kind of stuff. And it's just a little bit better because it can always be updated. And so that's what we use as a church. And so when we got an email one day, we weren't really surprised to hear that somebody was trying to get access to this, because the way that this works is the only way that you can get into a church directory is if an admin actually puts your email in there ahead of time. So not anybody can just join a church directory because they want to, because that would mean that anybody would have access to everybody's phone number and emails in your church when you may not want them to. So there's a little bit of foreshadowing going on here if you can't figure out what this person was trying to accomplish. So I got an email from our associate pastor saying that he had gotten an email from our youth pastor who also serves as our church office guy. Somebody had said, "Hey, my name is Betty and I've been coming to your church. I'm a new member and I would like to get added to your church directory." And so he was asking the associate, "Do you know anybody with this person's name?" And, he said, "No, I don't think so." So he emailed me and I didn't recognize the name either. So we kind of sat down for a little bit and was like, "Well, I don't recognize the name, but, it seems like really lately at our church we've had quite a few new people. So there are probably some names that we wouldn't recognize. And also, sometimes people go by their middle name or something, so maybe like we wouldn't connect the dots there." So we came up with the brilliant plan of saying, "Hey, why don't you go ahead and send us a picture, and we'll go ahead and put it into the directory for you." So we figured once we saw this person's picture, we'd go, "Oh, that's, I know them. We've been talking a couple times after first service or whatever." So when the lady sent this picture, we looked at it, and it was like, yeah, I don't know. I mean, she looks familiar. I mean, it was a middle-aged, white lady with kind of a typical haircut to what most of the ladies in our area would have. I mean, honestly, she looks very similar to quite a few ladies in our church. And it's like, man, I don't know if she just looks familiar because she's the type of person that would be around here, or does she look familiar because I've seen her before? And so we talked about it, and the truth is we didn't want to hurt her feelings and be like, "We have no idea who you are, we don't trust you." And so we thought, okay, nobody would want to break into a church directory, so, odds are she probably is a real person, so let's go ahead and we'll give her access, and then we'll see her on Sunday morning, we'll pay attention, try to spot her, and then talk to her. And so, we decided to go ahead and wait till Sunday. Well, about Thursday, I got an email from our youth pastor saying, "Hey, I got a weird email from you. I think your email account got hacked." And I was thinking, "Oh, that's great. Somebody has hacked into my email. How wonderful." I looked at the email. Obviously, it wasn't something I sent. In the subject line, it said, "Our Lord's blessings be with you," in all capitals. And "Our Lord's blessings be with you" isn't really something that I would probably say. I definitely wouldn't put it in all caps lock, and it's also, missing an apostrophe, so that's also a little bit weird. So this isn't something that I would put as a subject line, and then the email itself says, "Good morning, are you less busy at the moment?" And it's like, are you less busy? Like, less busy than what? Like, I wouldn't even send an email that would say that. That's not the way I talk. And then it's signed Peace and Blessings, Dan. And it's like, okay, like there's this weird semi-liturgical language going on there. Peace and blessings of our Lord, thee thou, like I don't talk like that. That would never come from me. Especially if I'm just asking him, hey, are you not busy? Our Lord's blessings be upon you. Are you busy? Like, I would never send an email like that. So clearly this is fake, and I'm thinking, oh, dang it, somebody got into my email account. But then we realized pretty quickly that nobody got into my email account. And we could tell because, the way that our church emails work are probably similar to how most church emails work. And it's our name at our website, which is visitcrosspoint.com. But when I looked at this particular email that was being sent, the sending address was my name dot visitcrosspoint.com at Gmail. And so basically this is just a generic email address, and the username for that Gmail was actually really similar to my entire email as a whole. And so it was pretty easy to spot that he doesn't have access to anything of mine at all. He just knows what my email is. And that's really easy to find because if you go on our church website and look at the staff page, you'll see right there under senior pastor, my name, my email. So it's really easy to get that information. So he got that information, made an account that looked similar, and then sent it to our staff. And it was kind of like, all right, this is annoying. Hey, guys, just keep in mind if you get something from a fake email that looks like mine, it's not from me. However, pretty quickly after that, I started getting a stream of emails from people in our church saying, hey, I think your email got hacked because they sent me an email. And it's like, okay, well, now this is a little bit more worrisome because this isn't just being to the staff whose emails you can get from our website. This is being sent to our entire congregation. And I'm thinking, how did they get access to a database that has all of the emails from our congregation? Did they get into our planning center account? Did they get into our files? Did they get into our, into our Google Drive? Or did they get into our instant church directory? So do you see where I'm going with this now? Basically, they got into our church directory because they pretended to be somebody who wasn't even real, and we let them in there because, honestly, we were being dishonest. We didn't want to admit that we didn't know who they were, and so we gave them access, and then they pretended to be me, and they got all of that information that we didn't want them to have. Now, there's no social security numbers in there, there's no addresses in there, but there are phone numbers and emails, and I can tell you that I felt really bad knowing that the main security feature of a church directory is the admin not letting people in there that don't belong in there, and that's where we messed up because we really just wanted to save face. So what we ended up doing was we sent an email out to our congregation saying, hey, if you get something pretending to be Pastor Dan, it's not him, so please disregard it. But we also had to, take a turn and learn from our mistakes, realize that honesty is the best policy, and admit to everyone what happened. Hey, we're really sorry, we made a mistake, but we let someone who wasn't a part of our church into our directory, so they may have gotten access to your email or even your phone number if it's on there. And, I was really worried for the blowback and people being really upset about this, this information breach. And honestly, everybody at our church was really kind, really patient, really understanding. They gave a little bit of a ribbing and stuff like that. But most of them just kind of, cracked jokes about it and just really left it at that. I mean, our church is really kind and gracious, and I'm thankful for that they would show me grace when I made a mistake like that. But what really made me worried was the fact that, scamming people tend to go after older folks because they don't understand technology and stuff like that often. And so that's why they go after elderly people. And we do have some elderly people at our church. And so I was really worried that they were going to get in there and send them God knows what from me, pretending to be me. And they're going to say, oh no, my senior pastor was thrown in jail for sharing the gospel. Let's go ahead and bail him out by writing a check for $1,000. Or, you know what I mean? Something like that. And that thought terrified me. So we went through the list, and fortunately, most of our more elderly members aren't even involved in the online church directory anyway. But those that were, we made sure to go through and make phone calls to them and say, hey, listen, just to let you know, if you get an email from Dan saying, I need money or anything like that, just disregard it. And so we were able to do that. And fortunately, nobody was scammed or anything like that. So we were very grateful to, kind of get out of that one. But there were still some lessons learned. Honestly, honesty is the best policy. And really, that's something that I wish that I would have, stuck to from the get-go. And I'm hoping that now if I can share this with you, whether you're a church staff person, a member of a church, an elder, a pastor, whatever, that you would take this information and say, hey, you know what, guys, just if you get someone asking to get into our church directory, don't let them in because here's what they're doing. Hopefully most of our churches can avoid something as, simple as this, because for being such a small mistake, really, it could have some pretty big consequences. Now, fortunately for us, we were able to have a little bit of a development because one of our church members is kind of a, jokester kind of a guy. And he decided to go ahead and write back to this guy and just see what he could figure out. And he was kind of like, oh, hey, Dan, no, I'm not busy at the moment. What can I help you with? What do you need? And ultimately, the scam that this guy was trying to pull was that I was going around to the church members and asking people for a little bit of extra money so that we can send it for some kind of a missionary help. So obviously, that is not what was going on. I wasn't trying to reach out to anybody. And so he just played along just to see how far he could take him, just to kind of learn what he was all about. Fortunately, also, one of our other members is a police officer, and he was very familiar with the FBI phone number to call and reach out to their fraud division that handles, internet scams and stuff like that. And so we gave them a call, and also I'll share that number with you here just in case, you end up getting, attemptedly preyed upon or whatever, so that you can kind of call that number and report it. I don't know that anything will ever come of it. It's probably a difficult thing to trace. I don't know if they could get IP numbers from, Gmail addresses or whatever. But the reality is that, we kind of got out of this one okay. I hope that it stays that way. And really, I made this video hoping that as churches or any organization that could, end up facing something like this, that we can avoid these kind of things from happening in the future. I hope that you enjoyed this video and that you found it helpful. If you did, I'd appreciate if you consider liking this video and subscribing to my channel because, well, this is the kind of stuff that I like to tackle. And with that, I hope that you have a great day, and I'll see you on the next video.